This episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. College football is here, and right now is the perfect time to get in on all of the betting action. The Ducks are opening up another huge season, and with FanDuel, you can bet the money line, point spread, player props, and so much more. Let's talk about Heisman. Don't look now, but the Oregon Ducks may have another Heisman contending quarterback with Dante Moore. Going into week one, he was plus 2,500 to win the award, and after a flawless day with 3 touchdowns, no picks, he's up to plus 1,800. Do you think that's a good bet?
I would say, yeah. Especially given our schedule. I feel like the I guess what do you want to call it? The not the ceiling. What's the opposite of the ceiling? The
The
floor.
floor.
The floor of this weekend's game, if that is the floor, which they talked about simplifying this game plan and haven't really touched the surface or anything as far as what's to come. I feel like Dante Moore, his ceiling is very high. And so I would definitely bet on that
Yeah,
at this
they're
point.
they're gonna play better defenses, obviously, than Montana State, but
Yeah.
like the execution, the decision making, I thought just kind of doing what he needed to do was really good. And then you're gonna see him kind of take those chances at some point in the year and air the ball out a little bit more than they did this weekend.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, plus
He was
1,800. I think that's kind of the best number you're gonna get it at for quite a while.
yeah. It's if you're a gambling person and you want to see if you can make your $10 go a little further than the average money line, this is your bet.
I think so.
And
I think it's a good bet.
he was so poised. Um, I'd put if I needed to basically sell a house, if I needed to come up with some type of invention to save the world, he would definitely be on staff.
Okay, I like it. Well, don't just watch the game. Get in the game with FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the Believe in Oregon podcast. You must be 21 or older and present in a state where FanDuel is legal. All right. Excuse me. Okay, good to hop in.
Yep.
All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the newest episode of the Believe in Oregon podcast. I'm Zachary, Neel. He's Jonathan Stewart. Jay Stu, what's up, man? How we doing?
Good, man. I'm doing really good, actually.
Good.
We the comparisons that I'm drawing from how I feel right now obviously is going to go into relation to last year. Doing this podcast and learning how to be a fan, but also learning how to be realistic about, your alma mater.
Yeah.
It's a tough task.
Yeah.
And after watching this past weekend, all of the games, I'm walking away feeling very, very confident about the Oregon Ducks.
I think they looked really good. I came on the
Yeah.
podcast Saturday night and gave some of my instant takeaways from the game. So I want to give you just the same opportunity before we jump into take and bake and kind of get on with our game or our podcast. You watched the game on Saturday. What were your initial thoughts?
My initial thought was we are poised. As far as the players go, like Dante Moore came in and he delivered, and the rest of the team did their job. But the coaching staff, they were intentional. They were
Yep.
intentional about what was at stake. It's the first game of the season. You're playing Montana State. You don't need to go out there and press anybody, right? Because a lot of times, offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, they want to try things. They want to test, certain elements of their play calling. And sometimes it's doing too much. And I think we saw that from other teams in the nation this past weekend where, offensive coordinators get in their way, defensive
Mhm.
coordinators get in their way. Just dial up the things that are basic so that way you can continue to develop and gain confidence within your team. And I think Oregon showcased exactly what that looked like. They looked confident, they looked fast on both sides of the ball. And there's a lot of other things that I think we can clean up. I think when you have a game like this and you can have that type of output and scoring at will, and to be able to look back and say there's still things that we can clean up, that's a good place to be.
Well, and we talked about it last week too. I mean, pick your 20 to 25 plays that you run really well.
Yeah.
Throw everything else out for this week. I mean, go. You don't. All due respect to Montana State, they're a good FCS team. You don't need more than that.
No.
And if you do, then we got different things to talk about. But I think they went, like you said, very intentional. They knew that they wanted to run the ball. They knew they wanted to get the ball out quick. They didn't take many deep shots. I would have loved if they took it a couple more just to kind of see what Dante could do, but that's fine. We can see that this week against Oklahoma State.
I will say the deep shots that they did take and did miss on, the misses were good misses,
Yeah,
if that makes
totally.
any sense.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't throwing the ball like trying to thread the needle and
Mhm.
whatnot. The misses were high on deep shots, which means he has the arm talent. And if they were like there was one ball to the left side of the end zone where the ball was placed perfectly if the guy, if I
Yeah.
forgot what the receiver
It
was,
was
but
justice. It was justice low.
yeah, I mean it was placed in a position to where he could have made a play if he made a spectacular play, right?
There may have been some
But
some
it
little
was a
PI in there too.
yeah, little PI, but it was positioned really well. Like there's a
Totally.
lot of times where you see missed balls, missed throws, where it's like, wait, where was that going? I didn't see any of that.
Well, and even more so, just the decision making was so impressive. Dan said after the game that his favorite play of Dante that game was one he didn't make. When there was 3rd and goal from the 10, he is rolling right. I mean, he could have tried to fit it in a couple of tight slots, and he just decided to tuck it and run for 5 yards, get out of bounds, get the field goal unit on, and they went up 17-0. So
Yeah,
that was one thing where, a lot of times last year we saw Dylan a couple times try and make those throws. We ended up
yeah,
against UCLA, against Michigan State, as interceptions that went the other way. So I thought it was just an incredibly clean game from Dante. I loved what I
yeah,
saw.
yeah. I mean, um, if I had to put it a word on as far as like the not a word, a phrase, fast and furious. That's where
Mhm.
we are. We're
Yeah,
fast.
very
Like,
fast.
and it was interesting. We talked about um, Taco
Dowler. Yeah.
Dowler.
Uh-huh.
I thought he
That
looked
kid's
real.
good.
I
That
thought
kid's
he
really
looked
good.
really good, but for him to say, I saw a clip of him talking
Yep.
about how fast Oregon was.
Hmm.
There's levels to this, and the
Yeah.
young man said it perfectly.
Yeah.
There is absolutely levels to this, and when you have another player giving you props
Yeah.
that says a lot, right? We can talk all day from the media's perspective as far as what we think, but whenever you get a compliment like that from an opponent
Someone on
and
the field. Yeah.
someone on the field that's experiencing this real time, I mean, my guy had 12 catches.
He had 12 catches, 107 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, this is coming from their best player, right?
Hmm.
And him able to be able to say, "Man, that team was really fast. I
Yeah.
know I had a pretty good game, but I ain't never seen explosion like that at any
Yeah.
level." So, kudos to the defense for being able to showcase how fast they are. But again, he had 107 yards,
Yeah.
12 catches.
He,
That you put that on film. We talk about
yeah.
this all the time. Whatever you put on film, you got to be ready to counter. Okay, because Oklahoma State, we're gonna get to it, but you got to make sure you can defend their best
Absolutely.
player on the field.
Well, speaking of Taco, real quick, that kid, I don't know what year he is. I forget what it is, but I think he made himself some money today because
Oh,
or not today, Saturday. He made
Saturday.
himself some money
Oh
because
yeah,
I could see him playing at the FBS level and having a little transfer situation because he's a good
yeah,
player. He's
yeah.
small, but he's a good player.
He's small, but he knows how to play football. Like he was his he's so shifty in
Yep.
and out of his routes and
Mhm.
the catch after or the run after the catch. You can't teach those things. You either have it or you don't.
I mean, he looked like all due respect, like an FCS level Tez Johnson. Like
Yeah,
he is that type of player who, he's not going to kill you, he's not going to run you over, but good luck catching him. He's going to be a
yeah.
really good flag football player.
You know, uh, Hunter Renfro.
Mhm, exactly.
esque.
Yeah, totally.
So shout out to
Yeah,
Taco, man. It was fun watching you. Unfortunately, your team got their brains beat
mollywopped.
in, but mollywopped. Yep.
Yeah,
And but you stood out,
yeah.
and hopefully you are hopefully the Oregon Ducks right now defense, they're going over film and getting roasted by their defensive coordinator and DB coach for allowing you to run all over the place.
In some aspects, yeah, and we'll get to it later. I mean, the defense really stepped up in other places too. But as far as today's show, we are going to go through our take and bake, just kind of go through what stood out to us, highlight a few players who played really well. I also want to open it up more Big Ten scope and nationwide scope, just kind of talk about who
Yeah.
impressed us, who we want to see more from, just in the conference as a whole and in college football. Then we're going to dive into our Oklahoma State preview, talk about the betting lines, and then I am going to try and stump Jay Stu once again with our quack facts at the end of the show. But to start us off, let's get into take and bake. Again, this is one of my favorite segments. I love this. If you don't remember, basically this is what allows us to process what we saw on Saturday, see it for a couple of days, sit on it, and then see how our opinions morph over time. I've got one to start us off this week if you're good with it.
Okay.
This take has to do with Makhi Hughes, who I think he was probably one of the top storylines on Saturday. More because what we didn't see than rather what we did see. The Tulane transfer, he was not getting many carries. I don't think he played until late in the second quarter for the first time. Even then, I believe he had 2 touches in the entire game. I'll admit this take is not fully done baking just yet. I want to see, what it looks like in a few weeks. But for now, I'm pulling it out of the oven. I'm just kind of checking on it. Um, I'm not positive that Makhi Hughes is the preseason All-American running back that Oregon fans expected him to be, but I also don't think that's a big deal. Take this with a grain of salt because it's been one game. They may have just been holding him. They may have just been kind of putting him on ice and saving him, not needing him in the first game. That being said, we came in expecting him to be Bucky Irving or Jordan James, of that level of running back. What if he ends up being Tony Brooks James or Travis Dye? Is that a failure compared to the expectations? Yeah, it may be, because if you expect him to be this great RB1, yeah. But still, those players were really good and they made great plays. And when you put them next to someone like Noah Whittington or Dink Riggs or Jordan Davison or De'Aaron Hill, I think that's still incredibly effective. Again, I want to sit on this and take a few more weeks and see how it plays out, see how he plays and what opportunities he gets. But after Saturday, I was, understandably kind of unimpressed with what I saw just because we didn't really see much. But I also was not overly concerned because I saw what else there is in the backfield. And I think that, Makhi maybe isn't like the incredible running back that we expected him to be, but I also think that that could be a result of other guys in that room being a little bit better than we expected, and him just it being more of a committee approach than a true RB1.
Okay. That's a good take. I respect that.
Yeah,
Um, I was not expecting not to see much Makhi Hughes. Not
yeah,
gonna lie. But I will say this. Um, my take, my bake and take, take and bake, um, is Jordan Davidson is gonna be somebody very special.
he's a good player.
He is built like you want him. Okay.
Yeah,
What
it's like
6
6
foot?
foot 230, two thirty
Yeah, like
five.
I mean that's basically like I was 5'10", 230.
Yeah,
This is a kid that I think we're gonna see a transformation of what Oregon's offense is gonna look like in the
mhm,
future. Um, I think being in the Big Ten, um, you got to have a stable of running backs, and we got a chance to see all of them, really.
mhm. Well, 7,
And
yeah.
and they all looked really good for the most part, with the opportunities that they had. Just being able to see Jay Harris, right? Seeing him run in the open field after catch. Um, you know, there's explosion out of the running back room. And when you have that amount of guys to pick from, first of all, injuries are going to happen. I feel good about the depth, right? And but when you talk about Jordan Davison, they recruited really well there because
Mhm.
this is a kid that I think his junior year, we're going to be talking about a guy in the Heisman race. So
Okay.
be ready.
Well, it also just we've talked about this a lot before. I mean, Oregon's ability to win and to play in multiple different ways. I mean, that I think is showcased really well in this running back room because you've got guys like Noah Whittington. We think Makhi Hughes are kind of like do it all backs. You give them
Yeah.
the ball, they can break away, they can get tough yards. You got guys like Dink Riggs and Deer Hill who have more of that like Michael James breakaway
Yeah.
speed. And you got
Breakaways, big explosion
yeah,
plays.
now you got someone like Jordan Davison, who is like a Cyrus Abibi Likio goal line back, like LeGarrette Blunt run
Yeah.
you over. It's like, man, you could. We talked to Noah after the game. He's like, man, there's nobody stopping Jordan from getting 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards, four
Yeah.
yards. Like that's just the type of thing he can do. So I love that
But those
style of play that he brings to the table.
Yeah, and that's the thing that you want, right? Being able to move the chains. You got to move the
Mhm.
chains when it comes to hard games. So when we're playing a Penn State, when we're playing, Ohio State, those Iowa, those teams that are known for being very stout on defense. Now we have these answers that that not a lot of teams have. Um,
Yep.
we can hit you with a jet sweep for a first down. We can hit you to Kenyon Sadiq for a first down, or we're just gonna line up and just muscle you for a first
Yep.
down.
Just run it in
And
your field.
that's what you call an offense that has weapons, not just guys that are fast or talented. You have an offensive coordinator and a scheme that provides these weapons to be deployed.
Well, and we'll talk about it later too, but what I love that I saw is Oregon ran so many different formations. I mean, 11, 12, 13, 14 personnel, jumbo sets,
Yeah,
five wide. It's like putting all of that on tape and like they didn't run crazy stuff out of it. It was pretty
yeah,
much
pretty
table
standard.
setting for these basic plays. But like now defenses have to see like, oh, how are we going to line up against these 12 different formations and figure out how to get ready for that and how to scheme against that. So yeah, I love it. The multiplicity of this offense, I think, is really going to be on display this year with Dante Moore under center, and then under center. I love the first play of the game. He actually came out under center, not in shotgun. So, yeah, I was really impressed by this offense. Are you there? You are frozen on my end.
Oh crap.
I got you now. Can you hear me? You
Sorry,
there?
happened. But
I saw you
all
freeze when I was in the middle of talking, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. So we're
right,
at a good
good.
stopping point. It's fine. Not hard
All
to
right,
edit.
good.
I'll just hop back into it. All right, so let's talk about players who really stood out to us and just highlight a few names. Just a chance to give some flowers to guys. Let's go back and forth, highlight a couple of players who stood out to you the most in the game on Saturday.
Well, I'm just gonna call it what it is. Dakorien Moore.
Yeah.
Um, his first touch, the orbit sweep
Hmm.
around the edge was very electric out the gate. Instant impact. But more importantly, the play of the game to me was Dakorien Moore's block on
Garrett Bryant's touchdown.
Bryant Jr.'s touchdown. Like first it started off with him catching the ball, Bryant Jr. And basically stalemate at one point, and then he just sheds the tackle like he's just shedding water. And just jogs to the end zone. But then you see this guy, wrestling and tussling with the Montana State DB up at the top, corner of the TV, and I'm just like, who is this guy? And it's Dakorien Moore pancaking the opponent like he owed him lunch money. You know what I'm saying? So, like, this is the type of bully football that you want to see out of your guys on the perimeter blocking. If I'm a running back and I'm seeing that, all right, look, you put it on tape. I want it every time. It reminds me of a guy, Steve Smith. Steve Smith used to be a terror for DBs in the running game. It was like he was blocking angry because he wasn't getting the ball, right? But Dakorien's, mindset, like as a freshman, to be able to like put a gun on his back and do it in a way that was just like he didn't have to do that, but he did it. It was like, man, we're here playing football. Football means the whistle goes, the ball snap, and now I get to hit you. So the physicality that Dakorien Moore brings to his game, to this offense, is setting the standard, right? If you're a receiver, this is how we block. And so shout out to the receiving coach. I think he's actually the passing game coordinator?
I think so, yeah.
And so, like, whatever he's telling these guys in these meeting rooms is working. Because one grown man to another grown man, you got your butt beat, boy. But that was the highlight to me because it really set the tone of what we're expecting this Oregon offense to be, but Oregon as a whole, be physical and finish the play. That was all about finishing and bringing physicality to your opponent.
Well, that wasn't the only time. I mean, yes, absolutely fantastic play from Dakorien. That was also not the only time that he had a massive block in the running game. On the first play of the game, Noah Whittington's 35-yard run, you see Dakorien up there, top of the screen, getting a really good block, setting the edge, letting Noah get out there. And then the touchdown run, I think it was Jordan Davison's first run. Dakorien gets in there and has a really nice block as well. So, yeah, and you love to see the celebration after the fact. On Gary's touchdown, like Gary started celebrating Dakorien's block more than he was celebrating his own touchdown. Then again, we have Dan Lanning tell us after the game, it's like, I love that play. He's blocking the wrong guy. He's blocking his ass off. It's like, yes, that's great. You love that from a true freshman.
Yeah, there's been multiple times where I've saw out of my peripheral a block being made or like a crack or a cut, like a crack back, and it's like boom, like ooh, and then I get tackled or I score, and I'm like, yo, let's go, right? Because that's just the energy. Like when I was sitting there watching the TV, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, okay, he's about to score. Good, he should score. And then I see the block. I'm like, whoa!
Oh, okay.
Now I'm excited, right? But no, man, I'm hoping to see that. I'm hoping that's not the last time we see that type of effort when it comes to a touchdown run of any sort.
Yeah, I don't think it will be. The guy I want to highlight is defensive side of the ball, Amari Washington. Man, have yourself
fast
a day.
Off the line.
He is his first step in just being an interior defensive lineman, like that guy is going to be a problem for defense or for offenses going forward. He finished the day with 5 tackles, 1.5 tackles for loss, but he was in the backfield so often early in that game that I can't wait to see him against better competition, better opponents, because I still think he's going to have this massive impact. I was just, there was a lot of hype about him coming into this year. We thought he was going to be really good. I didn't think it was going to look that good on Saturday. Man, he's something else.
Yeah, his burst off the line is something like a Nerf gun. You know those Nerf guns?
Yeah.
How and the reason why I say Nerf gun is because I think everybody can relate to a Nerf gun. But just pow, gone.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just unexpected. I was not expecting him to flash so quick. And it was the not a lot of times are you capable of being shifty laterally, right?
Mhm.
It's a lot of times you can see explosion coming vertically off the ball, right? But to be able to have that shift and vertical movement like that's something that's a gift, right?
Yeah.
Um, and he's got a great gift, and hopefully, he continues to build, and the linebackers continue to, build as well. Because again, this is Montana State. I saw certain things where certain gaps not being filled correctly and whatnot. You can get away with it playing Montana State, but you got to make sure you're doing your job by being in your gaps, linebackers. But you have a guy in Washington that's going to be able to make up for guys missing their gaps.
Yeah. What do I love? Like, there's some screenshots on Twitter of like, you can see the ball is snapped, not the offensive line isn't really moving too much, but the play is going, and Washington's already like halfway in. He's like already over the line of scrimmage. Like the quickness he has, it's just like,
Yeah.
man. And to do that at that size, it's really impressive.
That's going to get you
Yeah, anyone,
paid there. That's going to get him paid there, big fella. You keep on
absolutely.
moving like that, especially
You
when
got
you
anyone
start
else
playing
that
these
stood
big
out to you?
boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Dante Moore, the way he was able to manage the game. That's what we want to see out of our quarterback. Poised, calm, efficient, more of a conductor, right?
Mhm.
And he did what we expected him to do, but he did it with so much poise. And so I just think to myself, because I was kind of concerned going into the season about the quarterback position. But Dante, he's nothing like he was at UCLA, and he's everything that we've dreamed of as far as his situation, being able to sit behind Dylan Gabriel last year and basically take full advantage of his opportunity to learn and grow. And I
Mhm.
think he will be, the poster child of what it looks like to develop truly. So a lot of these younger kids that are bouncing around from team to team wanting to play, I think he's basically setting the tone as far as what it's going to look like to take a page out of his book to be successful.
Yeah, I completely agree. On the flip side of this coin, is there anyone on the team that you kind of saw it's tough in a 59-13 blowout, but is there anyone that you want to see more from going forward? I think there's one obvious answer, but I'm curious if there's anyone else.
Um, I mean, I would, to be honest, however this game played out, how it's going to be played out. As far as the depth in the running back room, I would say maybe I would like to see Makhi Hughes more, but maybe I don't.
It's like
You
you
know
didn't
what I'm
really
saying?
miss him. Like they did fine without him,
They
but I
did
still
fine
want to see
without him.
him.
Another player that stood out to me was Jaden Lamar.
Mhm.
Um, his speed on the edge there, that touchdown run. The gap scheme, it was made to, hit the B gap, or actually the C gap. And he had the patience and the speed to hit and bounce it outside for a touchdown.
Mhm.
So that running back room, I would say I would like to see more out of Makhi, but I'm okay with Noah Whittington. I'm okay with the lineup, how they brought us, that the depth there. I think they're rolling the right way. You got Noah Whittington, you got Jane Lamar, and then you bring the young guys in to continue to give them opportunities to showcase why they're on this team.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to my take and bake. Like, yeah, like I want to see more Mackay, but I think I'm fine without
Yeah,
doing that. Like I
yeah,
think they're gonna be okay, honestly. We'll see what it looks like this week. Like they've got a chance to maybe show us more of Mackay, but I don't know, man. If he's not the guy that we thought he was, I don't think that's a detriment.
Right. I mean, all at the end of the day, his brother's here too, so maybe they brought him here to hang out with his brother.
They were a package deal. We know that him and Naeem Offord, 5-star cornerback, were a package deal. So I think that it's still. I mean, also, what are we saying? Like, this is the number one running back in the transfer portal. Yes, we obviously wanted him. It's not like we just got him as the package
Yeah.
deal and took on this burden. No, we want him. We want to see what he can do. But
Mm-hmm.
I also love the rest of that running back room. Let's open this up a little bit and look at the Big Ten as a whole. Which team kind of grabbed your attention most, whether for something good or for something bad over the weekend?
All right, here we go. Ohio State
Okay.
and Texas.
Yeah.
Both of them look terrible. Period. I
Oh,
don't care.
okay.
I don't buy the BS of
You don't like defense, huh?
Patricia being the defensive savior, and that's the reason why it was so hard for Manning and crew. Now, I will say this: it's hard to, it's harder on the offense to get things rolling game one, especially when you're playing a top-ranked team, right?
Yeah.
So you're not in a situation like Oregon playing Montana State where you can be vanilla and you can run basic schemes and whatnot and get away with a win. I get it. You have your playbook ready. You got to have all your players, chemistry rolling at a top, at top speed, right? And we didn't see that from both teams offensively. And defensively, like, okay, Ohio State, you look stout, but they didn't look that great to be able to just keep a Texas team from rolling, right? So I think the offensive coordinator for Texas, he's known for doing good things, and for whatever reason, he wasn't comfortable doing anything.
Yeah,
And it's because the offense stunk. They stink. They're not ready. And Ohio State, y'all's quarterback, what is that? Timu? Or what's the
Timu? Yeah.
Y'all got the Timu version of Ohio State last year.
Will Howard. Okay. Okay.
But it was a disappointing, game of the week, in my opinion.
It was, yeah.
And shame on media, shame on us if we ever, said Arch Manning is, the Greek god of football. Leave him alone, man. Let him go over there and play football without us, deeming him the best college football athlete of all time because of his last name. All right.
That's
so
fair.
I think Ohio State is going to get got this year. I think this is going to be a year of growing pains, and I'm happy about that.
Okay. All right. I would love to see what our good friends at Believe in Buckeyes has to say about this.
Yeah, Believe in Buckeyes. If y'all want this smoke, let me know.
We need to have them on. I was trying to preseason, it didn't work, but I want to hear from them. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that game lived up to the hype. I liked what I saw defensively from both teams. Again, I don't know that it was like that's the reason neither offense could do much.
Yeah.
I think they played solid, but again, like you said, week one, I'm not ready. I did not see enough from either side to make any definitive statements. I think Arch Manning is a good player who had a bad game. I think Ohio State's defense is good again.
Arch was throwing that ball in the dirt.
Yeah, he did not play very well. I think that's
like, hey, you're open, dirt.
Yeah, right in the dirt. Yeah, it was strange. I will say, so I had two teams that really stood out to me in the Big Ten. One good, one bad. The good, I mean, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it. USC, I thought looked impressive. They put up 73 points on Missouri State. Good job. Like, great. You looked better than I expected. Again, it's Missouri State. It's like saying Oregon's going to win the championship after beating Montana State. Let's wait and see what you can do. I think you'll be an average to above average Big Ten team. The team that really stood out to me, though, was Iowa, who I thought was going to be better this year with Mark Gronowski. They were not. I mean, they
Yeah.
won, but I think
They
Kronowski
look
had
very stale.
44 passing yards in the game. It's like, okay, you were really
Yeah.
good at the FCS level. You get into that Iowa system, and it's still Iowa football. So I'm less concerned about that game later in the year than I was previously.
Yeah, because everyone's adapting and growing. If you're staying the same, look, you can't be Navy and Army and Air Force, right?
Sure.
Like you have to be vastly different if you're going
Mhm.
to compete for a national championship. And unlike Oregon, we're like I just said earlier, I feel like we're watching this team evolve and
Totally.
become an offense that can do multiple things.
Mhm.
Um, and if you're not growing, you're going downhill. So Iowa looked bad. Um, what Indiana didn't look that great.
It looked
Uh,
fine. Yeah.
eh, like I said, I already told y'all what I think about
Yeah.
Indiana.
You don't believe in them. That's
I
fine.
think they're
We'll see.
fraudulent. But then you look at teams like Florida State,
Yep.
Alabama.
Totally.
Alabama is just Alabama. They ain't Bama no more,
Mm-mm.
right? Yeah, they are no longer rolling. They're no
Mm-mm.
longer a roll tide. They are
Yep.
just a tide. They rolled out a tide.
Yeah. They look so bad, man. I was bummed we
Yeah,
didn't get to see that game because it was on during Oregon's game. But watching highlights, it's like,
I was
oh,
going back
this
and
is
forth on
not Alabama.
yeah, I was going back and forth on YouTube, TV, being able to flop back. The
Yeah.
Miami, Notre Dame.
Miami looks good, man.
Miami looked
I was
doggone
gonna
good.
bring them up. They
And
looked
that's
really good.
and that's where I think like I look at a Miami team. They played Notre Dame.
Mhm.
Both teams are supposed to be good. And Miami has a quarterback, Carson Beck, first year under a whole new regime.
Mhm.
He was able to go in there and figure it out.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, no picks,
Mhm.
right? Won the game. X factor, a guy. Looked like a guy.
I didn't believe
That
he could
that
do
to
it.
me
He
is
proved me wrong.
huh?
He proved me wrong. I didn't
He
think he
pr-
could do it.
yeah,
I didn't think he was
he
very
went
good.
he went in there and did that.
Yeah.
And but more importantly, looking at guys like that on the sideline, right? Hyping his team up. Like he's just a different guy.
Mhm.
So Miami got themselves one. Who else? Penn State. Penn State did what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, they're fine.
Yeah. They're basically looking at Ohio State, just licking their chops like, ha, this is the year.
Maybe they got to worry about Oregon first.
Yeah, they're gonna have to worry about us first, but we don't get to play Ohio State.
That's true. Not
Um,
until the Big Ten title game.
yeah, they ain't gonna be there.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other nationwide teams that really stood out to me.
Oh,
Miami was my biggest one for sure.
UCLA, the
Oh,
quarterback. Let's talk about it.
Nico. Yeah, tell me.
Nico, you listen, you should have stayed your butt at Tennessee, that boy,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Because Tennessee
UCLA
looked
ain't
good.
it.
Joey Aguilar
Tennessee
looked
looked
good this week.
really good.
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna be a study. We're gonna get some data out of that. But yeah, UCLA looked terrible.
Well,
And
speaking of quarterbacks too, did you see Cal's quarterback, Jaron Chiave Sangapolo Tele on Saturday night? It was probably after you went to bed. It was a late night
yeah, I
game
didn't
against
see
Oregon
that. I
State.
went to bed. He looked
He
good.
was, I mean, so he was the 5-star who committed to Oregon, was here for the Rose Bowl last year, and then transferred.
He
He
looked
looks
good.
good, man. He looks. Go watch his tape. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a mobile lefty Hawaiian quarterback. Like
Okay.
he's gonna be fun.
All
I
right.
I could see in a year or two, once Dante Moore's gone, Oregon might be like, hey, you
Come on
come on
over
back
here,
up to
man. Cal
Eugene through the
sucks.
transfer portal. He's
Cal
playing in
sucks.
the
Come over here.
he's playing in the minor leagues right now. He's getting his reps, but he might
Yeah.
get called up to the big leagues in a couple years. I can see it.
Yeah, I can see that too, man. I'm gonna have to check his film out.
Yeah, do it.
Michigan's
I mean,
quarterback looked good too.
Bryce Underwood, yeah, he looked really
Bryce
good.
Underwood looked
He was
really good.
impressive. What a great weekend of college football. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was good. It was I was tapped in the whole entire weekend. That was my
Love it.
first time really being tapped into that many games.
Yeah.
Um, some impressive things out there for sure. Boise State, no, that that
Ugh.
that ship sailed. last year with Ashton Jeanty leaving.
Yeah, absolutely.
UW.
All right, let's talk Oklahoma. Oh, UW,
Hold
yeah.
on.
Yeah, go for it.
UW's running back.
Oh,
I
Jonah
don't know his
Coleman.
name, but
Jonah
that boy
Coleman.
was, yeah, he was running all over the place.
He's a good player, but man, I was not impressed by Washington. Having
Well,
to
their
like pull it
defense
out against
stinks.
Colorado State, yeah,
Yeah,
their
their
defense
defense
just is not
sucks.
great.
But that running back looked good. So
Yeah,
well,
Coleman's good.
I'm looking at, like, obviously for us, Oregon, we got to make sure we're hitting our gaps, staying in our lanes, and not allowing any team to poke holes at us.
Do
Because
you know
again,
how
I don't want to
many?
put bad film out there for other guys to be studying us and figure us out. Okay, so
Do you know how many yards Jonah Coleman had on Oregon last year?
how many?
9. So
Well,
they'll be ready for him. They're ready for him.
he had over $140 this past weekend.
He's a good player, but I trust Oregon's defense.
Okay, there it
All right,
is.
let's talk about Oklahoma State. This is another game where Oregon should have some relative ease when it comes to winning in blowout fashion. The Cowboys won their first game of the year last week. They did suffer some losses in that game though, and over the weekend, starting quarterback Haas Henne, I think I'm saying that correctly. He broke his foot in the game, underwent surgery for it, so he'll be out for this week. That leaves you with Zane Flores, your starting quarterback. Then on Saturday, one of their top defensive players, Wendell Gregory, was allegedly, or apparently arrested for alleged larceny. Gregory had 3 sacks in their first game of the year. It's unclear if he will play on Saturday. I'm just seeing these reports. The arrest warrant was like from May, but he got arrested on Saturday. I don't know.
Larceny.
Larceny, which isn't that like stealing? I don't know
Stealing.
what larceny is. Yeah, it was like he stole like $200 worth of stuff allegedly, and so he got arrested and booked on Saturday and may not play this week. I don't know. So just something to keep a tab on. But he did
Man,
have
look,
3 sacks and played well in that game last week.
that's what you call a guy that can't get right. Man, you got NIL these days. You got more money than any college athlete in history. Like, or and you over here stealing $200 worth of nothing, worth stealing
Allegedly,
for, like, allegedly. But he got arrested. So there must be some kind of evidence that came out.
something.
You're guilty.
But as far as betting picks goes, Oregon is 28.5 point favorites, minus 4,500 on the money line, over under 58.5. Do you have any early lean?
Yeah, I'm gonna go over 28.
Yeah, you're taking the points, or you're giving the points. Okay,
Yeah, we're
I
over.
think so too. After what we saw this past week, like I have no reason to believe, both from an Oklahoma State standpoint and from an Oregon
Yeah,
standpoint, that this game will be close. Like
yeah,
Oregon has the ability to win by as much as they want to win by, I believe.
yeah. I think they play 3 quarters with the starters anyway, no matter what, just to kind of give them some gas. You got to give them some reps and some conditioning. Um, and so they earned the right to sit out early last week, but I would rather feel good about, hey, step on the gas.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
Dante,
completely
we
agree.
need you to score 4 touchdowns, five touchdowns.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
So one of those types of games I expect this weekend. Um, Poor Oklahoma State, man. OSU, the home of Barry Sanders, just
They're a
gonna
good
get
program.
mollywopped.
Yeah, we'll see. Once again, these odds were brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. College football is here right now. Is the perfect time to get in on all the action. The Ducks are gearing up for another big season with FanDuel. You can bet the money line, point spread, player props, and so much more. Don't just watch the game. Get in the game with FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the Believe in Oregon podcast. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where FanDuel is legal. Going into this game, after what we saw last week, what's one thing that you want to see more of, that we didn't see last week? Not from certain players per se, but from the team as a whole.
Yeah, I would like to see spacing, better spacing in the secondary.
Okay.
When it comes to those under routes, Taco exploited that. Yards after catch, those types of things. I just want to see guys jump on the ball and spacing quicker on defense.
Yeah, I agree. That was something I was going to say as well. Defensively, I think the pass defense needs to shore up a little bit, and it's not like they got beat over top, but yeah, they did give up some yards after the catch with Taco, and that maybe just be that he's a really good player. We'll see as
But we're gonna
the year
see
goes on.
some really good players though. So
Yeah,
because the difference here is that Taco is the best player on the field, right?
Mhm.
For them, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna see teams that have maybe 2 or 3 tacos. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, you know, again, you put it on film, we're like, oh well, our X guy or Z guy is better than these guys that we're seeing on tape. So we should be able to hit them over the top by,
Yeah.
the exposure of, facilitating movement with those crossing routes. And like I know crossing routes are hard to defend, right? Especially when you have a quarterback that has time and a receiver that can get open. But you got to make sure your spacing's there so that way you're in position. So just kind of the discipline of being in the right spots.
Offensively, I would love to just see a little bit more of Dante's arm talent.
Yeah,
We know it's there. I just, just a
deep
couple
ball.
of go routes, deep balls would be nice just
Yeah.
to satiate the fans. That'd be a lot of fun. I don't think they need to do it, but
Hmm.
it's just something I would like to see just for our own enjoyment.
Yeah, I would like to see Kenyon Sadiq be a little bit stronger.
Stronger.
There's a play where he scored a touchdown and he stiff armed the guy, but I would rather him just like really stiff. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Man,
what are you talking about? You threw
Kenyon
that guy
Sadiq
down.
strong as all get out. I want to see at
Uh,
least him get. I want him to have 8 touches in some formality. I don't care. 8 touches. I want him to have over 100 yards of total offense.
You had me, man. I was like, you said some crazy stuff on this podcast before. I was like, what the hell are you
Man,
talking
that boy's
about?
so
That guy is the
strong.
strongest one on the
That
field.
boy's strong. He lifted the whole stadium over his head.
God, yeah, very strong with the extra small jersey on.
I don't even know if it's extra small. It might just be him. Just so big.
Yeah. God, he's so big.
He's a gifted athlete, man. I'm glad that we have him.
He is special. He is really special. All right. Once again, before we close out the show, we are going to go to our new Oregon trivia segment, Quack Facts, where I try to stump Jay Stu. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I got you. I think I've got you twice in a row now. We'll see if I can make it 3, huh? All right. Mateo Uyanule had his first 2 sacks of the year on Saturday against Montana State. If he wants to break the Oregon Ducks single season sack record, how many sacks does he need total, and whose record would he be breaking? So basically asking, what is the single season sack total, sack record, and who owns the record? I will give you a hint.
What?
You want it?
Yeah.
You played with this player. So you should know this.
Nick Reed.
Yeah, there we go. How many
Okay.
sacks do we have?
27.
Oh my! In a single season?
No,
You're
not
insane.
27. 17.
Okay, closer. He had 13 sacks.
Okay.
Nick Reed in 2008, so a year after you, but he played with you. 13 sacks. He is also tied with Ernest Jones, who had 13 sacks. So that's the record.
Okay.
Mateo last year had 10 and a half.
So 13 is the record?
13 is the number to beat.
Okay. I think he can do that. You think he can do that?
So, I think he
Oh,
can.
he can
He's off to a good
easily
start.
do that. He got 2 already. So if he get 2
already.
a game,
Yeah, he's got a lot.
20.
He breaks
Yeah,
that
he'll get
record by a
20.
lot.
He'll get 20.
Yeah.
So you
No, I
think he'll
think he can get
have
up to like 15.
under or over 20? Under, so you're
No,
saying
under. That's a lot.
I'm going
Let's say around
20.
15.
Hey, yo, go get them
Okay.
20 sacks, dog. Be great.
Hey, that's a lot. That's a lot. All right, let's wrap it up
They
there. Once again, I
played
plan
12
to.
games.
Yeah, no. They might play 16 or 17.
I mean, but just out the gate, that's how many they play. So he got
Yeah,
plenty of opportunities.
he's got a lot of opportunities. Yes, he can
Mm-hmm.
do it. We'll see.
Okay.
All right, let's wrap it up there. Once again, I will plan to hop on and do a quick recap show on Saturday night. So look out for that. And then Jay Stu and I'll be back on next week, early on in the week, so you can catch us then. Jay Stu, you got anything to add before we get out of here?
Go Ducks. Period.
Go Ducks.
Point blank.
That's it. We'll see another good game this weekend. You can check out more of my work at DucksWired at usatoday.com. Follow me at Zachary C. Neel on Twitter. Also check out my Dude Ducks Rising podcast. We've got film breakdowns with our good friend Jeff Schwartz. Follow Jay Stu on Twitter at JonathanStewR1. Make sure to check out the Ducks of a Feather podcast with him and Kenyon Barner. For myself, Zach Neel, for my co-host Jonathan Stewart, we'll talk to you guys next week. Until then, take it easy.